Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
We didn't do Animal
Are
Kingdom.
we really AK haters?
From New York, Dillos is Live, starring Frank and Jen Dillo. This is Mr. Snidillo in studio along with music by Matt Harvey, inviting you to join the Dillos and their guests while they tangent and wax nostalgic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Frank and Jen.
Hey, howdy, hey, and hi, everybody on our YouTube channel and the Facebooks and the X Twitter. We're Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank. And for the next 45 minutes to an hour or so, we have a Walt Disney World trip report that will be parlaying into our Theme Park Thursday podcast this week. Our guest is Jeffers, who took over our Instagram at Dillos Diz. Yeah, that's the Instagram handle, right?
On the Instagram. Yeah, you're right.
Correct. I didn't know which I was reporting on right there. And had some pictures and made us a little envious at times. And I will just say that while the intro was playing, I did accidentally bring up Jeffers instead of myself. So he almost started this recording without you. So.
Yeah. If you've watched us before, you know that Frank typically has a lot of glitchiness, a lot of technical errors, all the things, and I don't want to jinx it. But for some reason, tonight, you look like the clearest I've ever seen you on here. And I'm like, I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to jinx it, but also, is this a different camera? Is there a different computer? What is going on?
I'm on Mrs. Dillo's laptop.
Oh, that's it. Maybe that's it.
But I will also say she has, I mean, I shouldn't say anything, but she has like 18 windows up right now. I was like, there's no way I can't X out anything.
No, you can't do that.
But also, is that going to mess up things? But here we are. So we're rolling with
it. It's working. Shh, no one say anything. No one move.
And I replaced the headphones tonight with the ring light, so I look better.
Oh, that's nice. I really think the ring light makes me nauseous, so I never used it again. I worry.
Was that a one and done? It was like one time?
No, I feel like, I don't know. There was a time, and I will say it was probably back in the Parks and Monorails days. So, 4 years ago. But there was a time that I feel like I was trying it for a while, and I was like, man, don't feel well after I don't know what's going on. And I was like, oh, I wonder if it's this light. It's messing with my head or something.
While you mentioned Parks and Monorails, we'll shout out the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. They're on a YouTube crusade here.
Yes.
As Living with the Landon carries on towards Landon's 40th birthday next year. But you should go listen to the Monday Morning Monorail podcast to get all that information because I don't want to botch it. Also, our friend Steffers has a new thing going. It'll be over on the YouTubes tomorrow. I don't think I think there's a word that's inappropriate in there, so I don't want to. I don't want to botch that one either. But we're just go over to the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Listen, do all the things, get all the plugs,
do the subscribing, do the following,
spread it out.
Yeah. We're on the X and the YouTube and the Facebook tonight, so we got to be careful about what we say because you never know when we'll get kicked off of something if we say the wrong word. And also, last week you were saying things, and I was like, I need to remind you what platforms we're on before you start going down.
Listen, we try not to get political here. That is our international jingle of politic talk.
Yeah.
Or when we tiptoe around it, just so everybody knows. And we don't like talking about it, but sometimes Jen was a little nervous last week.
I was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. What did I just do to my hair? I just stuck it up in the back there.
Distraction right there.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh,
just going all over the place.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you're remembering where we are this evening. There are people that some platforms have more comments than others. So
So we'll jump right in. We'll do the shorter jingle here, and then we'll start like a recording of the Theme Park Thursday podcast. We'll bring in our friend Jeffers. I mean, I still think there'll be chit chat here at the beginning before we bring in Jeffers, because we know we're making them nervous. So we'll do that. We'll get things going right now. Here we go. As I click, if people, because our friend Lewis, who's in the chat,
Hi, Lewis.
he likes to point out when we're like 10 seconds late, like when it's like 8. In this case, 8:30 and 7 seconds, like he's on it.
Yeah.
And I will say every time it is because I am fumbling to find the right video.
Right.
I'm always like, which one is it? Is it
Yeah.
this
Although
one?
this evening, I will say Frank was trying to keep us on time while I was trying to talk to Jeffers about Army Wives. So, I mean, he was trying at least. So,
Yeah. Unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
But most weeks it's because I'm like, what am I doing? Which one is it? So here we go. Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
we didn't do Animal Kingdom.
We really hate us? This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank. We're recording this on a Tuesday evening over on our YouTube channel and the Facebooks and the X Twitter. Trying to spread out all our love here to all of you during the months of March and April. Something like that.
Yeah.
Prior to this recording, Jen was talking to me about the fresh mountain air because I was in Colorado over the weekend, and I talked about how it messed up my memory and brain more than anything else. So you're getting a little taste of that here in the early going of Theme Park Thursday.
I love it. I have an announcement.
Oh, an announcement.
Breaking news. Do we have a breaking news? No, we don't. We should get a breaking news like ticker, a banner, something.
Uh-huh.
Just for when it happens once a year.
News.
You don't have to do it right now. I'm just saying.
All right.
On Theme Park Thursday, this Thursday, in 2 days, I'm heading to a theme park.
What?
I know. It's spring break in these parts.
That's true. A very late spring break.
That's right. The school year's basically over, but here we are on a week off of school.
It's crazy.
Break. Yeah, and we're heading to a little Legoland overnight.
Oh, a Legoland overnight.
Yeah.
Weeknight deals? Is that what you're talking about?
If you want to call it a deal. I love Legoland. So, of course, yes. Yeah.
All right.
But yes, and you may remember the 7-year-old who turned 7 in January. She at that point was like, "Hey, I want to go to Legoland for my birthday," and we were like,
Steve Sanders on 90210.
Hey, I want to go to Legoland, and we said, "Oh, but Legoland isn't open right now." And then she said, "Well, I want a Disney trip." Do we remember this? And we were like, "Oh, I don't know that we're doing a whole Disney trip." And then she was like, "I want one day in Disney," and then she became obsessed with the Lion King over winter break.
Mm-hmm.
And then wanted to see Lion King on Broadway. And then that died off.
Oh.
And then she got back into Legoland as it drew closer to the new season opening.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, well, the 9-year-old is going to turn 10 in June. We got a small window to make sure her birthday stuff happens before his birthday stuff happens. So here we go. That's where we're headed. Yeah.
Legoland. Very nice. Speaking of new season starting, last week we lamented on the 28-minute episode of Bluey, and lo and behold, they drop another Bluey episode over the weekend. What?
Surprise!
Literally.
That's what it's called.
Also breaking news, I still haven't watched Wish, even though I had 2 long plane rides to do it. Didn't happen.
You have to do it. It's before next week. That has to be our next episode. We have been telling the people of the resort that we were going to talk about it weeks ago. It's time.
I'll also, because we're on the X Twitter, I feel like the thing to mention right now, because everyone's doing it on the X Twitter, is that if the rumors are true about Pixar Fest,
Mm-hmm.
we will not be the hosts of Pixar Fest.
Oh.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
We haven't gotten the call yet.
But
by the way,
rumors...
that Pixar Fest, I'm telling you. Listen, I gave up the hope of Disneyland. I was like, maybe it's not in the cards this year. Maybe we'll just obviously go and have a fantastic Disney World trip or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the little Pixar Fest previews and the fireworks and the buzz and I'm like, uh-oh, I think we have to make this happen. We have to go.
The Pixar Fest and the Universal announcements that apparently April 29th, this coming Monday, will be the biggest nostalgia fest in the history of Universal Studios. That's basically what they're promoting right now.
Are you flying down for the day?
On April 29th. It is my half birthday on Monday.
Oh, halfway to 50. That's what you are. Halfway to 50. Fine, Frank, for halfway to 50.
I'm fine. It's totally fine. Do I look younger if I do this the whole time?
Yeah, I said you were looking as clear as ever, so maybe. Maybe.
I think we've covered everything. But before we bring in our guest here, update on hashtag Dillos Madness. That's our March Madness tournament. We acknowledge that it's the end of April. Brackets were due exclusive to DillosDisResort.com on Monday, April 22nd, which was the 60th anniversary of the World's Fair in New York, which we discussed last week. But also apparently it's the 26th anniversary of Disney's Animal Kingdom. I don't know where the oversight was.
I started laughing because I thought you were going right to the Animal Kingdom. I was like, oh, is that...
Well, sorry, Animal Kingdom. We love you. If you don't know, we have a bad rap about the Animal Kingdom, the two of us, just based on previous recordings the last 6 years. There was like a halfway in these 6 years. At the 3 year, I feel like we both turned a corner in year 3. Yeah. I think I was in the Animal Kingdom 3 different times during the calendar year of 2021. I haven't been there in 3 years. It suddenly has caught up very quickly.
The last 4 years, it's all together. That's not 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Regardless, we didn't pester everyone enough about the deadline for the brackets because I was out of town. Jen was beginning her spring break. So it was a whole thing happening. So we've extended the bracket submission deadline to, guess when? Monday, April 29th. And of course, you can still get in on that at DillosDisResort.com. That's our Patreon. Memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillosDisResort.com. But for hashtag Dillos Madness, you just go to DillosDisResort.com. You click the join for free, and you get all the videos, you get all the brackets, you get all the things. No Animal Kingdom stories. I don't believe in any of that. There's 32 of our stories over 4 decades.
I mean, there's a lot to cover.
I will say, though, in that one channel Discord, I did ask for very nice Animal Kingdom memories on Monday. I know they thought it was you because
that was a Frank prompt.
It was prompted by me, the dark side of Dillos Diz. And we got some very nice memories. And those are the things that can happen at that one channel Discord. Just so you know, it's not just you being all pulling pigtails and pushing people around all the time.
I don't know what that means. That mountain air has done things to your head for this week. We need to bring in our guest. Are we done? Let's go. Yeah. Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in now. He took over our Instagram last week at Dillos Diz. It was an Insta takeover.
Oof. That's your second, by the way. I don't know what you said earlier, but you went with the hard A.
I'm just saying, and this is going to go on for a little bit. But I have had 2 teeth pulled in the past 2 weeks. That has changed the way I speak completely. I'm not happy about it. Is that a good introduction for our guest or not? I'm not sure.
No. And you know what? Can you take down the Dillos Madness banner so that he doesn't... It's all confusing if we bring him in and the Dillos Madness banner's still up and it's just...
This guest has submitted his bracket as a guest of DillosDisResort.com. He did take over our Dillogram, Insta Dillo.
Dillogram.
Dillogram, right? Here he is. You know him, you love him. You can't live without him. It's Jeffers.
Hi, Jeffers.
How's it going, everybody?
Well, great.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Dillos Madness, and you could have left the banner up because it was going to be something that I was going to, when you started talking about it, I was in Florida, I came home exhausted, and I still got my bracket in on time.
Okay.
And I did that because I was afraid that it would get disqualified if it was late. And so I'm a little disappointed that you've extended the deadline for everybody else, thereby increasing the number of competitors that I'll be going. It's a competition, right?
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, there's a prize package at the end.
Yeah, it seems like when there was group work in school, Jeffers, you were like, guys, we got to do this. Come on, let's all work together. I'll just put it all together for everybody. It's fine. I'll turn it. I know it has to be in on time.
It's the rules.
It is the rules.
Yeah,
it is the rules. And second thing you guys brought up during your intro there was the Bluey episode, and I was texting Jen from the airport saying that when your parents put their house up, or they actually sold their house last month, and they're only in it for another 2 or 3 weeks, and it's the only house that like your parents or your mother and her mother ever lived in, and then you decide to pull up the Bluey episode about the sign. It's probably not the best place to do it in a big public airport. It was a tough one to get through. Yeah, but it was okay anyway.
It got everyone.
But we're not here to talk about that.
We're not here to talk about Bluey. Was the MCO carpet underneath your feet while you were watching the Bluey episode?
It was. We did fly into and fly out of Terminal B. Is it numbers or
that's
letters?
A good
it's
one.
B, right? Yeah. It was not it was not Terminal C. It was not the new one. I flew into that one last September for the meetup, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was too sleek,
too shiny.
Yeah, not enough carpeting. Did the MCO carpet catch the Bluey tears that you were shedding?
There was some misting, but I don't think there was any full blown tears because I tried to not pay full attention.
Right.
Tried to do other things. Such push it down. We're in public here. I was tired. I've been up since 4 a.m. It's an 8:25 flight, so it was an early day.
Yeah.
Jeff, let's start at the very beginning. What prompted this most recent trip to Walt Disney World?
So this was a siblings trip. My brother, who is a few years older than I am, shares an upcoming birthday age with Frank. So he'll be turning 50, not till next March, but he has always had this dream of, and he's a regular Disney goer as well. He's always had this dream of drinking around the world. And he's, for the last 2 or 3 years, he's like, we got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. And finally back in January, he sent me a text. He's like, I found this flight, and it's $200. And at the time, All-Star Sports was on for just a crazy discount. And he's like, we split the hotel room. It's going to cost us nothing. It's like, we got to go. And of course, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. I asked Mrs. Jeffers. I said, Dave wants to go on this trip. That's my brother's name's Dave. And Davers. David. I'm like the only one that calls him Dave. He has to go by David, but I call him Dave. But so I was like, all right, let's do it. And so that set into motion the Burkett brothers returning for oh wait, did I just dox myself? Probably. Returning to Florida, I figured out for the first time together at the same time since 1993. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been a year or two, so 30 some odd years. And,
it's been a year, 4, 32, either way, whatever.
So,
before you go, Jen, I just want to understand quickly, Jeffers, who here with many of the people in the chat right now, who have been giving Jen and I grief for months about when the meetup in September was going to be planned, when we didn't have a date set, anything like that. And everyone's like, I need the advance. I need the time. You're telling me that your brother came in a couple of months ago and said, I was going to be. You're like, okay. But me, you're like, I need 10 months.
I need a year in advance.
I needed it before. And I told you March 22nd, but it was actually April the 1st. So the vacation date request had to be in by the beginning of April. So since he brought it to me in January, late January, early February, was before the window that I could ask for my time off. So
can I just side
it wasn't a
tangent here?
distance of time. It was, it had to be by. Sorry, go ahead.
I see.
No, you're fine. The side tangent is at your place of work, which we will not dox you for here. You have to get in like just everything, no matter when it was. Like in January, you could go in February. That's fine. But if you were also taking a trip in October, you have to know that by April. Is
That's
that what
right.
it's? What?
That's correct. I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
So the vacation gets topped up in April. You can borrow against it, type of thing, if you want to go like January, February, March, right? But the vacation kind of runs April to April, type of thing. If that makes sense. Just how our contract works. So
Canada.
he
Obviously
doesn't
implying
trust
here
these.
that Shepard does not trust me as much as his own brother. What?
I've known him longer, so you're from New York, so
I mean, Lexi's on a roll here tonight. The brother, David, we'll call him David, doesn't Dillo as often as the two of us. What?
And you know what? If I had a Dillo sibling say to me, Jeff, we're going to Florida in 2 months, I'd be in. Let's go. I'd make it work. Figure it out.
Twist my arm.
That's right.
But David.
David. So yeah, that's what kicked it off. He he's got a family. They're a bit his kids are a bit older than my kids, but still kind of, certain things you can do with your family at Disney that you can't or with your brother at Disney that you can't do with your family at Disney, and drinking around the world is probably one of those. So
yeah.
He's had this.
Oh, so go ahead.
No,
I
good.
just interrupted you. You go ahead. You're the guest.
I don't know what I was going to say now because you interrupted me. So
this was your first time at All Star Sports?
This was our first. Well, this was my first time at All Star Sports. He's been to Disney like way more times. He went through a period where he was taking his family basically every single year, a couple times a year. So he's done kind of the whole gamut of moderate and value resorts. But yes, this was my first time at All Star Sports, and nothing but rave reviews. It was fantastic. We had a very clean room. Mm-hmm. The biggest concern was, I'd heard it was huge, and it'd be forever to get back to the the main building there, whatever they call it. But I timed it. My first morning there, it was 4.5 minutes from our second floor room to the main building, and can't complain about that.
Yeah,
right. No Skyliner though. So.
Little morning dew walk. You can't complain. Was 4-minute morning dew walk. Yeah.
Morning dew on the AstroTurf is slightly different than on real grass, but
sure. Take what you can get.
It was a good substitute. It's a good substitute.
And no carpeting in those rooms anymore, right?
No carpeting in those rooms. It's all laminate flooring. And I think I didn't look into it ahead of time, but I would be very surprised if those rooms hadn't been like very recently renovated, because I walked into it and I thought that it was spotless and everything was in perfect condition. And it was, really, really nice, really for what it is. Like, if it's got the pull down bed, there's not a lot of space. Mm-hmm. It'd be tight with 4 people there, but for the 2 of us, it worked out pretty good. Yeah,
I don't know what the timing of it was, because I know when we were over at All Star Movies in 2021, and I say not Jen and I, but our family, I know that sports, I don't know if it's both sports and music were closed for a long time, which I think was mostly renovation and not because of capacity issues. Mm-hmm. But have you been in the other 2 All-Stars or at all, or no?
Nope. So hadn't been to either of the All-Stars. The only other value was just that last trip at Pop last year. So, and I was happy that we were in the baseball section, whatever it's called, mm-hmm. And we were at the back, kind of facing the parking lot, because of course the other thing you hear about is there's quite a few performance groups that comes in, and there was a cheer competition that came in kind of probably the day before we were leaving, and you'd walk down that football field to go to the main building there, and it was just packed with cheerleaders, and of course they're rambunctious and loud and having a good time. And so where our room was positioned, which was the back of the building 9, it worked out good. You know, I was a bit grumbly about it at the beginning, like, oh yeah, it's right at the back of the resort, but I think it worked out for the best because it was super quiet back there, and like I said, it's less than 5 minutes walk to the bus stop and the main building. So
Yeah.
not going to complain.
That's a classic all-star stay. You have to have the cheerleading groups.
Yeah.
If you stay at the all-star resorts and there's no cheerleading groups, I don't know that that's an actual stay. I don't think that counts then. All right. And then how many park days did you have?
So we were there for we flew in Sunday, we flew home Thursday. So we had 3 full days. So we had 3 park days. We did parks the 3 full days we were there. So we didn't do anything on arrival day. And of course we were out at 8:30 in the morning on our departure day. So there wasn't a park day there. So we did a hardcore day on Monday with Epcot and Hollywood Studios, a slightly less hardcore day on Tuesday with the Magic Kingdom and Epcot again. And then I basically killed my brother in those 2 days and had to take the foot off the gas, and we headed to the Animal Kingdom for a nice easy day on Wednesday. And we hadn't planned on going to the Animal Kingdom, but we just needed a nice, relaxing, enjoyable day. So
yeah, somewhere you could spend half a day and go back and relax.
Go back to the resort, exactly.
Yeah,
so that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Right. Yeah.
So 3 days, and I pretty much killed him the first day because we did rope drop to park close on Monday, and then not much different on Tuesday, and he was hurting by the end of it. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, David.
Sorry. All right. So day 1, take us through. You rope drop what?
So my biggest concern being at an all-star resort was the rope drop kind of bus craziness in the mornings. So kind of bypassed that by booking breakfast reservations on Monday and Tuesday. First day we booked Ale and Compass. So we just Ubered over to the Yacht Club and had a 7:30 in the morning breakfast at Ale and Compass, which 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Anybody get a chance to go to Ale and Compass for breakfast, highly recommend. It was fantastic. So of course we were out of there by about 8:15 and just able to walk over to the International Gateway, and we walked down to the Canada Way to bypass Remy. And so we rope dropped Frozen Ever After. That was our first ride as brothers. The Real Men Love Frozen. And so we did that and then headed down to we did Test Track, and then we popped over to Soar and did Living with Land. Then over to Guardians, did Guardians twice. We did both the virtual queue, worked out timing wise for our virtual queue and the individual Lightning Lane because he'd never been on it because he'd missed it on his last trip. So we got 2 for that. Then we had Space at Lunch 220, or Lunch 220. We had lunch at Space 220. We can edit that out, right? So we had lunch at Space 220 and just in the lounge, and that pretty much wrapped up our kind of rides portion of the day. And then we just did the loop around starting in Mexico and finished off in where did we finish? Must have been America. I think we finished in America that day. And that was we did our drinking around the world. We didn't want to do it all in one day because I was afraid of getting banned from Walt Disney World due to inappropriate behavior. So
you want to end up in Disney jail or on TikTok?
Didn't want to end up in Disney jail. So we finished up there, and then we went to Hollywood Studios for the afternoon. After that, we kind of banged out a few rides there, and
wait. So what time did you leave? Hold on. I'm like, oh, what a nice full day at Epcot. What time did you leave Epcot with all of that?
Just around 4:00. 4. Yeah,
a lot done though.
We did a lot.
Okay. First question. Lexi's asking, what were your songs for Guardians?
We had September in Conga.
Nice. Oh, Conga's a hard one to get.
We got it. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the second one. That was the individual Lightning Lane. That doesn't really matter. But it was timing wise. Everything worked out really, really good timing wise. We only had we had Genie Plus, but the only thing we used it on in Epcot was Test Track. Everything else, Frozen was a walk on because we did that at Rope Drop. Then we went down. We did our Test Track, Lightning Lane, Soren was a walk-on. Living with the Land was a walk-on.
Soren was a
lined
walk-on.
lined up really nicely for the virtual queue, and we got off the virtual queue and went right back in for the individual lightning lane for Guardians. We got Edda Guardians at like 11:35, and I had an 11:35, or I guess we got it around 11:40. I had 11:35 Space 220 lounge reservation, and so we were at a Space 220 probably by 12:30, and then started kind of working our way around the World Showcase. And we had a quick bite to eat at about 3:30 in at the American Pavilion at Regal Eagle.
Nice.
We split some pulled pork, and then so yeah, that's when we headed over to took the Friendship boat to or no, we took the Skyliner. Yeah, we took the Skyliner over that time. That's right. It was the Friendship boat the next night, but took the Skyliner over to Studios from I don't know, how did we get there? I'm trying to remember.
How did we get to
the day I tell you, the days were all
around the world.
the days were totally mixed up. But
all right, before you go to Studios, though, I have some more follow-ups about Epcot, if I may. Another question from Lexi: did you get a drink at each country, or did you share any?
We did share a lot of. We did share, and I wrote it down because I knew that question was coming. So I had to write. I wrote it down.
But Lexi's here.
Yeah,
I knew Lexi was going to be here. She so Space 220, which I considered the start of drinking around the world because we were around the world.
Nice.
Sorry.
Like what you did there.
I don't know what he did. I didn't write down what he had. I had the Shuttle Crew, which was very, very good. Highly recommend. Mexico, Strawberry Margarita. Norway. It's funny. So watched a bunch of TikToks heading into this trip, drinking around the world, drink recommendations, that kind of stuff. And there's kind of three big drinks that were overwhelmingly recommended. One of them was the Viking coffee from Norway, the violet sake from Japan, and what was the third one? I don't know. Oh, the moonshine sour from USA. So I wanted to get all three of those, and 10 out of 10 for all those. So it's totally, sometimes Disney food blogs and things like that kind of over hype a lot of the stuff. But that Viking coffee, we actually went back the next day because we split on, because I wasn't sure. I'm not a big Kahlua fan or Bailey's fan. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like that one. So we ended up splitting that one the first day, and we liked it so much. We went back the second day and got one from there. So yeah, I've got the Viking coffee in Norway. China is the only food booth that we hit, and we tried. What was it called? Nope, that wasn't China. Was that China? Oh yeah, the spicy masala chicken skewer, and that was all right. We split it, and there we had the I can't read my own handwriting, but it was a something jasmine lager, and we split that one too as a beer. Germany, we hit the beer flight. Which were the two beers are fine. Two of the three beers were just fine, but they had a raspberry rattler as part of that was quite good. And again, we split that as well, so we didn't actually do a lot of drinking around the world. We tried a lot of the drinks, but we were being very well behaved because the beer flight, you get these tiny little, probably 3 or 6 ounce beers that we were then splitting between the two of us.
Jeffers, have you had a Tipsy Duck in Love before?
I have had a Tipsy Duck in Love. My brother's not a big bourbon / whiskey guy, so he didn't want to do that one. So.
Viking coffee or Tipsy Duck in Love?
Viking coffee, yeah, 100%, 100%. Sorry, Justin.
I just looked up the Viking coffee because then you mentioned Bailey's. I'm like, I'm sorry, what is it? What is this Viking coffee?
It's so good.
That's going to be on my list for next time. So yeah,
it's so good.
Nice.
Italy, we did, I did the there's like a limoncello slushy, in honor of you guys.
Did
USA,
you eat gingerbread houses after.
They're not up yet. USA, I had the moonshine sour, and he tried the frozen mint julep, which he did not like. Not surprisingly, because I don't think he knew it was in it. Then Japan. I think Japan is where we finished the first day. We split the violet sake there, and it's very good. A lot of sweet drinks. I'm a big sweet drink guy, so Yeah, so that's where we finished drinking around the world on that day. So those were our drinks at Epcot.
Before you go over to the studios, did you feel obligated to go on Test Track because you knew it was going under renovation for a little while?
I didn't feel obligated to, but I couldn't imagine going to Epcot and not going on Test Track. It's,
did you want the picture together, and is that why you did the Genie Plus for it? I don't understand Genie Plus, because otherwise you do like the single rider. How was that decision made?
I didn't think of it in terms of the picture. I just thought that if you're going to use any Genie Plus that day, it was either going to have to be on Remy's or at Test Track. We're going to go, we might as well ride together, right? We did single rider quite a few times on Everest, but day one kind of felt like we should probably stick together. So I didn't think of it in that way, but just if you're going to use Genie Plus at Epcot on anything, it's either going to be Remy or Test Track, because those are the two that the line, or Frozen, of course, but we got that knocked out nice and early in the morning. So, but yeah, that was the thinking there.
I have another Epcot question, but I think I'll save it for when you come back to Epcot, because you said you went back another day. All right, so I'm going to save that for the next go around of Epcot on your trip here.
Okay.
So studios later in the day, did you do the walkout at the end of your day at studios?
Yes and no. We were tired. I booked a late Oga's. I booked an 8:50 p.m. That was the latest I could get Oga's. We got in a bit early, but I saw that Phantasm was going to be getting out at whatever time I was going to be getting out, and I started to get antsy about what the buses are going to be like. So we kind of finished up at Oga's. So we didn't get the full quiet park walkout because we had the let's go and get to the buses before Phantasmic empties out, and we have to wait.
So you're rushing.
We rushed. I did. I rushed him out day one. We've been there since 7:30 in the morning. Come on. But,
well, that's what this will loop into when you said that, you pushed them too hard and it was a little hardcore those first 2 days. Originally, when we first started, I was like, oh, it's a trip centered on drinking around the world. Jeffers leaning into a laid back visit. No, not at all. I can't do that.
I can't be the tour guide for a trip like that, I guess. I want to do too much. I said that to Jen a couple days ago, where I said 3 days on the Dillo trip seemed like a week. 3 days on my trip seemed like half a day. Like it just the time went by so fast. It was incredible. But even though we were there all day, there's not enough time. There was not enough time.
Not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. Because we had the Genie Plus, that was also kind of my strategy, was that I was stacking up the Genie Plus stuff for the evening because I knew, while we were touring around Epcot, I was just setting up late stuff for at studios. So when we got to studios, I had a Slinky Dog, a Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, and a Smuggler's Run, which you didn't end up needing, and I'm trying to think. Oh, a Toy Story Mania for the Genie Plus there. So that worked out well because studios was busy at that kind of 5-6 o'clock hour, and we had there kind of between 5:30 and 7. We had the lightning lanes stacked up so that we could just boom, 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 boom. But and we were still hungry, so we had headed over to the Brown Derby Lounge, and thought we'd share a charcuterie board over there. So we did that. I don't know if we were hungrier than we thought we would be, but it wasn't quite enough food. So we finished off our day with a classic. Not to jump too far ahead, but finished off our day with a classic All-Star Movies Resort pizza, which is it's something. Hit the spot at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what it's good for.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
what while in the studios?
Well, in the studios, yeah.
Aside from Brown Derby, what other stops did we make?
So just the rides, and see, we missed a lot of stuff too. We didn't get to the Muppets, unfortunately.
What?
We didn't get to Frozen. It was all ride focused. So just
Star
Brown
Tours
Derby,
with the Star
and
Tours with the
Ogas.
new.
So we did. Oh, we did do the new Star Tours. So we got onto Star Tours, and then so we got off Star Tours just about 20 after 8, and then headed over to Rise of Resistance, and that was
with your 7-minute wait.
7 minutes. 7 minutes to the Ray Room, like unbelievable. I had my touring plans app out, and as we're in Star Tours line, it says estimated 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. 20 minutes. Who's going to shake who's going to say no to 20 minutes for Rye? And we just kept going through the queue, like it's just not running into anybody. And then we basically hit a point where around the corner into the Ray Room, and I'm like, this is. It never happens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then same thing. Walked out of Rise, right? Headed over to Smuggler's Run. Figured we'd do Smuggler's Run and then right to Oga's. So we got into Smuggler's Run, and again, same kind of thing. And we put our boat. This is gonna be the humble brag portion of the show, but could have both been the pilots. But so we were set up to both be the pilots. But there was 2 people behind us, and then a mother with her kid, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be the pilot." So we let the kid be the pilot, and we did the old engineer. That was fun. But
that's very kind of you.
It's a bumpy ride. Yeah, you can cut that part. I don't. We don't
ruin his reputation.
That was so nice of you, Jeffers.
I know.
One of the nicest things I've ever.
You made that child's entire trip. He's going to have a Disney podcast in 20 years.
That's right. He's going to remember you because you made his trip extra more magical.
That's what I was hoping. My brother said, he's like, he said, how's that kid ever going to learn to live with disappointment? But anyway.
David.
Sorry, Dave. Don't listen to this one. But, yeah, so that was it. So then we headed back and
had some pizza.
It was a busy day. That was a busy day.
Yeah.
And just to say, for every screenshot you see on the social media with the 360-minute wait for Rise of the Resistance, for every one of those you see, you get one of these. You get one of those 7 minutes. You get one of the a 20-minute, even if it's a half an hour. Yeah. Those exist out there in the world, everyone. It can happen to you.
Don't pay $20 for it. Just go at the end of the night. Just go at the end of the night.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Day 2.
So day 2, the original
we're
plan.
Waking up, we're sore, we're tired.
Right.
We're like, how are we doing another day?
So 2 weeks ago, my original plan was, Epcot in the morning, studios at the evening, probably not get a lot done at the studios portion of it. And then I was going to flip my days because I wanted on my trip, get my studio stuff done, Rope Drop Studios, and then head to Epcot at the night. Because I'd still never really seen, aside from like being at the beach club and seeing the bowl, Spaceship Earth lit up. I'd never been like close to it at night when it was all lit up. And I'm like, I got to do this. I got to see this. So that was my plan. Totally switched that plan when we got basically everything done at Epcot and Hollywood Studios on Monday. I said, well, why don't we go to Magic Kingdom in the morning? Sorry, it was going to be Magic Kingdom in the morning and Epcot. No, that was going to be my Wednesday plan. So that was going to be my Wednesday plan was going to be Hollywood Studios in the morning and Epcot at night. Tuesday was going to be the Magic Kingdom. So that stayed the same, but my Wednesday plan changed. That's right. So we set up a breakfast at Steakhouse 71 at 7:30, same kind of thing, so that we could Uber over to the Contemporary, so we didn't have to take the buses from the All-Star, and then just take the monorail over to the Magic Kingdom. That's what we did. So we had nice rope drop breakfast at Steakhouse 71. We both had Walt's prime rib hash, which not my favorite, but last time I was at Steakhouse 71, I had the steak and eggs, which was fantastic. Yeah. This was still pretty good, but I recommend steak and eggs over that. But so yeah, and then rope dropped, of course, the People Mover on Because originally I was going to rope drop Space Mountain, but by the time we got over to Space Mountain, the lineup was like way out the.
You don't have to make excuses. You rope drop People Mover, and you be proud for that. You don't have to pretend like you were going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to remember the entirety of the steps of the day, but we did a lot of Magic Kingdoms. We did the People Mover. We got on Tron. That was a little bit later in the morning. A couple times on Big Thunder Mountain. Took the train all the way. Did the whole loop on the train. Haunted Mansion. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. That's what we did after the People Mover. I was trying to remember what we did after the People Mover, but it was Buzz. Tiki Room, Dole Whip.
Fumes. The Fumes.
Was it? Fumes? Yeah, I did. I sent it was on the gram. It's on the gram. Big did I put that one on the gram? Maybe not. Maybe that was a Discord only picture.
Discord, yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Did you actually drive the cars, or did you just stand on the side for the fumes?
We just stand on the side, yeah. I was not waiting in that line for I think it was 25 minutes for the cars at that point. So
yeah.
And so my original plan that day was to either we had a Kona dinner reservation. But I really wanted to make my way over to Geyser Point, but I wanted to have something booked for dinner in case we didn't make it over to Geyser Point. At about 1:00, my poor brother, who was having problems with his Achilles at this point, he was losing steam, and I said, you know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we head back to the resort? We'll have a swim,
take a nap,
a little bit of a break,
yes,
and we'll head back to Epcot tonight, and we'll finish off the drinking around the world. So that's what we did. So we had about a 4-hour break at the resort, just chilled out.
Way to
he had a
Dillo
swim. I'm not a big swimmer. He had a swim. I didn't feel like swimming. I just
you ain't going to
around.
pool? Come on.
Not a big swimmer. But
just stand on the side.
Yeah. It's too hot. I burn really easily. But so yeah, we had a nice little relaxing break, and then we headed back to Epcot to knock out our last 4 countries, and that's what was going to open up my Wednesday to totally change my plan from Wednesday. So we headed back to Epcot, and we started in Canada. So we've started drinking around the world from both sides at that point. We had a beer flight. Actually, I started with he went and get the beer flight from Northern Bloom, and I really wanted to try the frozen mojito. And the frozen mojito, I swear to God, was like a shot glass. It was $13. Oh my God. It was $13. Don't get that one. Nobody get that one. I was expecting a nice, just like I was expecting one like the Mexico drink, right? The Mexico drink was a red Solo cup sized drink, but they handed me this thing. I was like, $13. That's American.
Excuse me, I think this is
$18 Canadian. But so we did that. We got to try the 3 beers from Canada, all of which I think I've had before, including a gluten-free one that Lee Taylor had been asking us about, and I had said that I had tried that one before, and I had tried it again. Nice. And there you go, Jen. Gluten-free beer.
Appreciate it. Lee is my GF buddy, so it's good. Yeah.
And from there, we headed over to France and got the La Vie en Rose frozen slush, I guess it was called. I don't know. Oh, no, I missed. I skipped over UK there. We had a Harp Lager. We split a Harp Lager, not my favorite, at the UK Pavilion.
Did you do a half yard?
I didn't even think about it. We still got those? That would have been such a good picture. We did not do a half yard. And then, unfortunately, we went to Morocco after that, and we were pretty much done with drinking around the world at that point. And I got to tell you, if you're going to finish in a country, a Moroccan beer is not the way to do it. Very disappointing. But we didn't actually finish there because we headed back around. First, we had dinner at Regal Eagle again because we both liked it so much. We had dinner at Regal Eagle, and we made our way back around to the Norway Pavilion, where we each got our own Viking frozen.
Oh man, you wouldn't be over with this.
It's really good. It's really good.
And then did you walk to the front of the park at night?
We did walk to the front of the park at nighttime, and this is where things get a little Jeffers. And so my brother, again with this Achilles problem, says, "I'm done. I'm heading back." And I said, "Well, the Magic Kingdom's open until 10 o'clock today." And he's like, "You go." I'm like, "Okay." And so I'm like, "I'll take the Epcot monorail over to TTC and then go from there to the Magic Kingdom." Get to the Epcot monorail. Closed sign. It's closed. So I asked the person, like, how do I get to TTC? And they said, "Oh, there's buses down at the bus stop." So I walked down to the bus stop. Huge lineup for the Epcot monorail buses. And I'm like, "Nope." And it just so happens the very first bus stop that you come across at Epcot is bus stop number 5. That's Port Orleans French Quarter. There's a bus there. And I say, "You know what? I could go for some beignets." Or my brother, he's gone. My brother's gone at this point. I'm like, I could go for some beignets. So I'm taking the bus over to Port Orleans French Quarter, get off the bus, and I said to myself, why don't I just check the sign here, see what time the next bus to the Magic Kingdom's coming. Oh, it's coming right now. So I took the bus I didn't even go get my beignets.
What?
The bus.
Oh my God.
On your way.
No time. At 8:39, I was on the bus from the Port Orleans French Quarter to the Magic Kingdom. Get to the Magic Kingdom. Happily Ever After is going on. And I'm like, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous.
You know why.
I know. And so my original plan was to cut up through the Emporium, head over to Big Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowds were leading me more to the other tunnel on the other side of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so the right tunnel. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go up here. And so during Happily Ever After, they keep that whole back open. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that whole back bypass that you same place you enter for the
Not so
Oh,
scary.
for the
scary.
yeah. I didn't know that.
And I didn't know that either. And
They
so
didn't
boom,
do that back in the day.
That's
No.
right.
No.
So straight to Tomorrowland.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not good show, right? You're backstage. What are you doing backstage?
Mm-hmm.
So right to Tomorrowland, Space Mountain, over to Haunted Mansion, over to Big Thunder Mountain. And I had about 2 minutes to make it to Pirates. And I said to myself, we don't need to do this. We don't need to do this. So I did a nice little walkout video on your Instagram, live, and walked all the way, I think, to the tunnel, and then called it a day. Back to the buses at...
Look back? Did you look back?
Yeah,
I did look back. I looked back even on the video.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, anyway. Headed to the buses, and, Disney transportation for all the hate it gets. Within 25 minutes, I was walking back into my resort room, so I can't complain. So that was day 2.
Oh my God, that's insane. Okay, but I do have
That
to
a
back
lot?
up before we go because it's Animal Kingdom, so it won't take us too long to review the third day. But before I need to back up to Epcot because this was going to be my question from day 1 that I was going to say for day 2, especially that it was at nighttime. What did you think of the whole area? The ball finally. You're seeing it close up for the first time, and now you have this whole extended area with it all lit up. You're hearing the essential fountains. Tell us everything.
It's pretty good. I don't know what to say. It's beautiful, right? Like it's everything that you think like a Disney park should be, especially at nighttime, right? Like everyone talks about Main Street, and the park Magic Kingdom at night, but that whole area down in World Celebration, is that what it's called?
World Celebration.
Future World.
You got it.
Is,
Future World.
Yeah. It's,
Hashtag always future world.
always Future World. But it's you can't beat it, right? It's so beautiful. The only knock I have against leaving Epcot is it takes, once you're out, like to get to that bus stop at Epcot, it's it's a long walk.
Yeah.
But it's
Nice.
Could spend all day down there.
I can't believe you did that whole day, and I can't believe you didn't get the beignets on your way.
Can't believe you were there.
I
You made the right call.
I would have taken another 15 minutes. I would have never got my Big Thunder in. But
It's something Frank would have done in any kind of weather. It's something I would do in only non-freezing temperatures of Orlando. So if it was cold, I would have been out. But other
it was that's one thing I haven't mentioned in the podcast yet, is that I've never had more perfect weather. Like we've been there when it's been cold, we've been there when it's been super hot, when it's rained and drizzly, but like this was 3 like magnificent. I had to do the conversion before the show, like 88-degree days, like crystal blue, clear skies, sunshine, just so good. It was. I want to go back. April's the new time to go.
Well, I mean, it is, because I mean, I used to joke when I lived there that like it's 90 degrees plus from this week, the last week of April until mid-October, end of October, like those 6 months. The second half of all my birthday years, it was 90 degree temperatures. Yeah, so it is. You kind of hit. It's like a sweet spot, right?
And
there.
you wake up to the morning dew part is you wake up and like you're walking to the bus at 7 a.m. You're walking to wherever, and it's chilly, right? Like it's like it's like what we would say 19 degrees. I don't know what that translates into Fahrenheit, but probably the 70s. And but like by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's just perfect. Like no humidity. Last week when we were there, it's just it's perfect. And then I came home and like literally like you couldn't pick like a grayer gray to have the sky painted, and it was pouring rain and just so miserable. And
what am I doing?
Why do we live here? What are we doing here? It's awful. That's the first 2 days.
All right.
Check and check.
Final
day. And so when I was selling this Epcot afternoon, when we were at the Magic Kingdom, and I was saying, I had these plans for dinner. It's not going to work. We can't stay around till 6 o'clock at Kona. I said, why don't we do this? That's selling it to my brother. Why don't we get our Epcot day, and then it'll clear the slate. We can sleep in tomorrow. We'll do whatever we want to do. So we're still up. We both get up early anyway. We're both up at 6:30, and like, what do you want to do today? What do you want to do today? And he's like, we could go to Animal, and this verbatim from his mouth. Because before the trip, he's like, I don't care if we go to the Animal Kingdom. That was him. I don't care if we go to the Animal Kingdom. It's got one good ride. That was his like verbatim.
It's not us saying that. That wasn't us.
This is somebody else. Doesn't even listen to the podcast. He
what?
Says,
what do you mean?
One. Well, definitely can't now. But wakes up and he says, well, we could go to Animal Kingdom and just ride Everest. I'm like, okay. Like, this is your trip. It's your trip. We'll do that. So I think we were on the bus. Animal Kingdom opened at 8. So we took the bus. I think we were on the bus 10 to 8. So we weren't quite, rope drop in the Animal Kingdom, but
sure, you could take your time.
Actually, I have a couple of pictures that I don't even think I posted in the Discord, but I should post them to the Instagram account about when we were in Asia.
Rope drop Animal Kingdom when it takes 45 minutes to get to the Tree of Life. I don't even know.
Right? Yeah.
So it's you can do it. You can do it. But, everyone goes to Flight of Passage, right? Like everybody goes straight to Flight of Passage, and we went up, or they go to the safari, and of course we're just gonna go up to Everest, and like I've got pictures like there's like 2 people, and like Asia's like completely empty, and so I'll have to post. I didn't post those on there. I kind of ran out of steam on the Instagram as well. Instagram is heavy on day 1 of the trip, but kind of petered out on the last 2 days of the trip. But so we went up and we did Everest. It was a walk on. It said it was 25 minutes, but it was a walk on. We did Everest again because it was a walk on. And then we decided to head back into the park. Or did we do it a third time? I think we might have done it a third time. No, it was just twice. And then we headed back, and he said, well, while we're here, he said, we could go do the safari. I said, okay, walk up. We did the safari. Same kind of thing. Wasn't busy at that point. Maybe it's 25 minutes a wait. It wasn't too bad. Did the safari. Giraffe like right up against our I got that one too. I'll post that one on the We'll do a big animal. I should have done it on late to the Animal Kingdom party. But so we did the safari. Cali River Rapids was finally open after that. So I said, okay, well, I haven't ridden Cali River Rapids the last 2 or 3 trips. Just been too cold, or we haven't had a chance to get to it. So let's go do that. We did Cali, got soaked. Walk back over to Everest. Then we just did single rider on Everest. Tried to do Lewis Proud, but we did it. So we did it back to back to back on single rider.
Wow.
And I think that's it. We had enough. At this
Nomad?
point, I said, so you good? And he's like, yeah, it's about just after 10 at this point. I've been talking to kind of back channels to Theme Park Rob. And I said, my brother and I think, are going to head to Nomad. I said, what time can you be here? And he's like, I can be there in 20 minutes. I said, okay. And Dave just said, you know what? I'm going home. I said, so we went down and we watched, there's a performance. I don't know what they're called. There's some kind of performance. We sat there for about 20 minutes. And I said, all right, I'm going to head over to Nomad. You can head back. He said, that's cool. So he headed back. This is, so Nomad opens at 11.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
I rope dropped that because then I got to go after that. So I'm there early.
right. So David was leaving the park by 10 to 11. And I was patiently waiting for Rob at the little stroller parking area just outside of Nomad Lounge, waiting for him to say that he was in the parking lot so I could put in our, because I didn't want to put in our, seating request, whatever they call it,
Right.
and then run out of time. But so he got there about 20 after 11, got right into we went and walked around Pandora for a bit because it was said by the time we signed up for the what do they call it? Waitlist, virtual waitlist, whatever it's called. It was going to be, it said 35 minutes to get into Nomad, very popular. It wasn't that long. So we walked around Pandora, just took a look at a few things there, got called over to Nomad Lounge. We got checked in, had a nice little lovely lunch up at the bar at Nomad.
Nice.
And theme park Rob and I were done by 1.
Yeah. Perfect.
And headed back to All-Star Sports. Rob, I think, actually went and rode Dinosaur. But at this point, I'm beat. I'm just heading back because we had a dinner reservation at Yachtsman for that night.
Yes.
So I had a little nappy nap in the afternoon.
Beautiful.
And then we took the bus to Hollywood Studios, and then the friendship boat over to, which I thought the friendship boat, I should have known by now, but I thought it was going to go from Studios to the boardwalk, but it actually went from the Studios to Swan and Dolphin and then to the Yacht Club. So we just got off of the Yacht Club and then walked all the way around the boardwalk back to the Beach Club, where we had about an hour till our dinner reservation, and we just hung out at the quiet pool.
Quiet pool. Did you get a milkshake to sit with you by the quiet pool?
Yeah, I didn't want a big milkshake before my.
You don't want a milkshake before your steak dinner.
You posted the picture at the quiet pool, and I was done with your trip. I was done. I was like, I'm not looking anymore.
That was just for you guys. But
it hurt.
Yeah, so we hung out
pictures
there
like
for,
that hurt. They make us a little
bit
bit happy, but they also hurt a lot. It's a hard emotion.
It's only coming from the place of love and sharing. So then, we had a nice dinner at the Yacht Club, and then or at the Yachtsman, I should say. And being his day, I said, "What do you want to do?" And he says, "Let's go to Disney Springs." I'm like, like, that's the worst idea ever, but let's do it. Like, Epcot's right there. We went to
go back to the studios.
We went to the studio. We caught the bus from the Yacht Club down to Disney Springs, and Disney Springs, we just did a little, like, all we did was World of Disney, really, because it's World of Disney, that's what it's called. It was so busy. Like, it was busier than any theme park I think I've ever been in. And they had a band playing. I can sound like an old man, but they had a band, some kind of band playing, and it was
There's
so
some sort
loud.
of ruckus.
It was so loud. It was too loud. And but anyway, I used this opportunity and said at dinner, I said, well, we won't, if you want to go to Disney Springs, then we won't have any dessert at the Yacht Club. We'll take the Sassagoula River Cruise. So we took the Sassagoula River Cruise from Disney Springs up to Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yeah.
Got our beignets.
Nice.
And then took an Uber back to All-Star Sports because we had to go to bed early because we had an early morning to leave the next day.
What meat of choice did you have at the Yachtsman?
I made a huge mistake, and
So happy you asked. I made a terrible mistake.
I made a terrible
I
mistake.
chose poorly.
My initial reaction was, I'm going to get the 22-ounce bone-in ribeye. And my brother said, I'm going to get the 22-ounce bone-in ribeye. And I said, well, I can't get the exact same thing as you. And so I'm looking at the other options, and they got a strip steak, which I'm not a huge fan of, a filet, which I'm not a huge fan of. And they had a prime rib, which, everybody likes prime rib. But the waitress was selling. She's like, it's like our steaks are cooked over a wood, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that sounds good. I said, I can't get the same thing he's got. So I had the prime rib. And we kind of split, like he had some of mine and I had some of his. And his was so much better than mine. Now, it was a very good prime rib, like very excellent as far as prime rib goes. Excellent. But it was not anywhere near as good as his medium rare.
Is because the porterhouse was always my go-to.
The porterhouse.
The porterhouse was not on the menu.
Oh,
Because I had the porterhouse on our honeymoon at the Yachtsman, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
I should have known.
What were your sides?
So this is a bit of a sticks in my craw, because I know generally at a steakhouse, at a nice steakhouse, you have to order your sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the options on the prime rib was a Yorkshire pudding.
No.
That's it.
You give me the garlic smashed potatoes, and that's it.
That's right. So I got the garlic mashed potatoes.
Okay.
But I said, what? You get a Yorkshire pudding with a prime rib. Like, that's included. Like, that's what a prime rib is. You get prime rib, Yorkshire pudding, mashed potatoes. Like, that's, but like, she's like, nope. And so we could have ordered steakhouse sides, but then that would serve two. So there's a mac and cheese, and you could get another, whatever, blah, 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 whatever the other sides were. And I said, well, no, I don't, my brother got the loaded baked potato for his side with his delicious steak. And I said,
delicious loaded baked potato.
So I said, well, I don't like a loaded baked potato because I don't like sour cream. But I said to her, well, so I can't get the mashed potatoes and the Yorkshire pudding? And she's like, no, it's one or the other. So I said, okay, well, I'm not having a steak and a Yorkshire pudding. That's just weird. Or a prime rib and a Yorkshire pudding. Like, I need something else with it. And no, like, asparagus, no, like, mixed vegetable, like, no, they didn't have any of that stuff. So anyway, I had the mashed potato, and it was very good, delicious.
Yeah.
But
at least
you gotta work on their sides.
At the end of
they gotta work on their sides.
Yeah.
I feel like Yachtsman has gone up and down over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong. And we had a nice bottle of wine that we split between the two of us. And they had a bread service ahead of time that was included with, I think it's like some kind of onion bread and then a sourdough that was both very, very good. And some kind of salted something butter, mango butter. I don't know, some weird salted butter, but that was very good. It was 10 out of 10, but just the side options was weird. Weird.
So
especially when you couldn't order it like, okay, well, I would like a side of XYZ. It was like, these are all the extra sides were like shareables for two, essentially.
Right.
Like, well,
yeah.
Probably do it, but
so when all was said and done, and you were crying at the airport watching Bluey the next day,
that's right.
did your brother, whose idea it was on the short notice, feel fulfilled by the trip he got to have with his brother?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he got to do everything he wanted to do. He said something along the lines of your Disney skills are very good, or something along those lines. It's not having to wait for anything, just going thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. I think he really appreciated. But what he didn't appreciate was the 30,000 steps on back-to-back days. But that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
That's
the way you do it.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I can't do it any other way. I tried.
And now your next Disney trip is the meetup. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have Fine Frank for 50, September 10th.
Around the 13th. The Friday the 13th, it's in and around.
Some of us are going from September 10th to.
Some of us will be there for 3 weeks prior, just in case.
And so a little backstory is I was texting Mrs. Jeffers, of course, this whole time, pictures and, look at the great time I'm having. and I got a lot of the kids are really enjoying your pictures. The kids are really they want to know what you're doing next. And I like, then I got home and the 9-year-old who just turned 9 was doing a lot of well, when do we get to go again? When are we, why can't we go next time? And well, Daddy's going in September again. And then Daddy and Mommy are going in December. As Mrs. Jeffers and I are going for our 15th anniversary trip in the first week of December.
Mhm.
And so as I'm walking the dog on Sunday afternoon by myself, the guilt is weighing heavily on me. And Mrs. Jeffers gets home. And I said, well, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did a full week in September? And you can come to the meetup, Mrs. Jeffers.
Yeah.
So the first 4 days will be just you and me. And then it'll be the last 3 days will be the meetup.
Mhm.
And she's like, no, I want my whole week. She's like, I want my own whole week.
Yeah.
So she kiboshed that. She cut the kids out because I was going to take the kids in December with the whole family. So it's sorry, kids, you got to wait till probably August of next year.
Lenny Burrows will have a few words from Mrs. Jeffers in August.
That's right. That's August 10th to so yeah, it'll be September, just me, and then December will be Mrs. Jeffers and I for our 15th and well-deserved 15th anniversary. You got to celebrate. That's a big one, right? So,
Yeah.
And the kids, I may squeeze in. If we can find maybe a good bounce back deal, squeeze that in April next year because it's such nice weather. Right? But
Sure.
I'll
Nice
have to check
long
the bank
weekend.
account. I'll have to check the bank account in post
No,
December.
you don't do
post
that.
December.
No.
You don't check the bank account when planning a Disney trip.
At some point, the bill comes due. At some point. But 3 days is not enough. I can fully vouch for that's not enough. So, Fine Frank for 50 now. Monday to
Monday.
Sunday. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's only about 18 weeks away, everyone. So,
That's right. If I hadn't
Halfway to
thrown my phone on
50.
the floor, I used to know the ADR day. I think the ADR day is sometime in July, so we'll get that all settled. We got that itinerary yet, which we got hoop-de-doo on arrival day. We got
no, it's a perfect segue, Jeffers, because we're anticipating that the halfway to Halloween announcements will be coming, and if most likely on Theme Park Thursday, don't we think? Because they don't want to go near that Universal announcement on Monday, right? So they're gonna have to try to preempt that with halfway to Halloween, don't they?
Yeah,
think
you
so.
would think.
So we'll have more information once those dates are established as we wrap up here on a Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. There's a chance here that we'll do a Theme Park Thursday live on Thursday night. I'm trying to finagle that. I don't know if Jen's available, but we'll see.
I won't be available.
Well, she won't be available. Never mind. No Theme Park Thursday live for anyone on Thursday.
You could go solo if you want.
We'll see.
Maybe I could go. Well, no, I don't know. TBD.
Because you'll be in the thing. You'll be in Legoland.
I'll be yeah.
live
to be in a
from
theme park.
Legoland.
Live. What?
Huh?
What'd you say?
What?
Live from Legoland.
Anyway. So hashtag Dillos Madness. Make sure you get your brackets in. Jeffers already has his in by April 29th. Please. DillosDizResort.com is where all the hashtag Dillos Madness stuff is happening. I'm telling you, those 2 teeth pulled out of my mouth. I can't. I'm so angry. But right now we are actually heading over to DillosDizResort.com for a quick. We have to do a little bonus thing. But guess what? If you're listening to this as the audio, we already dropped the bonus thing. So more information. Huh? But we're watching the video. And now if you're listening to the audio, but that came first. We'll figure it all out. We'll explain all at DillosDizResort.com.
We're bingy.
But thanks to everyone here for watching on the YouTube channel, over on the Facebooks, over on the X Twitter. We see that number in the corner. We see it. That's why we keep coming back here. So we'll do it all again. Jeffers, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you over at DillosDizResort.com.
See you guys.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Until next time, she's Jen. That's Jeffers. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.